Aaron, you've often talked about the journey to try to get to the World Series. Now that you're there with this ball club, what are your emotions? What are your feelings about this whole thing?
Yeah, the journey's always a tough one, but I think that's the fun in all this is, enjoying the good times, the bad times, learning from them, trying to improve from them so you can get to this point. So, now getting to this point, this is where the real fun starts. For years as a kid watching the Yankees, playing the World Series, win World Series, just that excitement, the emotion, how the city comes alive is something, definitely special, and looking forward to doing that with this group.
From your left, Aaron, Brian.
Aaron, when you guys played them in June, what did you take away from that series?
Well, they're a great ball club. They're a complete team. They got you can talk about their offense where they start off with three, MVPs back to back there with, I know Freddie's a little banged up that ankle, but, Shohei, Mookie, and him, that's a tough three to go through to start off a game. They got a great pitching staff. I know they added a couple bullpen pieces to their bullpen, but just a complete team. They're fast, they're athletic, they can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Just a truly dynamic team. So it was definitely a fun series. I know it didn't go the way we wanted to here, but definitely fun always playing them.
Other than the obvious, what do you admire about Shohei?
Other than the obvious, I feel like everything's obvious. Hits for average, hits for power, the speed. Doing what he did this year with the 50 stolen bases. That's it got talked about a lot, but I don't think it got talked about enough. It's just he's an impressive athlete. The best player in the game, and what an ambassador for this sport.
Third row on your right, Otis.
What does it say about the resiliency of this team? You started out as the best team in the majors. Then you had a lull there where it was like playing some of the worst baseball in it. But now you're here where you were expected to be.
Well, I think our confidence never changed. I think the outside noise had its narratives that they wanted to, say based on how the games were going. But everybody in this room we never faltered after a couple tough games, after a couple tough series. We knew what we're capable of and what we can do. So, for us, nothing really changed. We had to answer some tough questions and, definitely had to make some adjustments at times to get back to where we knew we needed to be. But, this is a confident group that goes out there and lays it on the line every single game. So, to battle through that 162 tough season, go out there, win our division, win the AL. It just speaks volumes to the guys we got in that room, and just how gritty they are to go through the ups and downs and keep pushing forward.
Right behind you, Otis, if you don't mind passing the mic. Thanks.
Hey, Aaron, obviously a couple more ties to the West Coast than most of your teammates. Any chains or anything you're excited to have while you're out there for a little bit of an extended time?
I haven't thought about it too much. I always love hitting in and out though when we go out to the West Coast, but it's gonna be fun. I got a lot of family down there in Southern California, a lot of cousins that are down there that are going to be coming to the game. But I always love playing at Dodger Stadium. It's electric atmosphere. One of the best fields in the game. It's definitely, I think a lot of guys are looking forward to. I know even John Carlo as well. He's talked about it. It's his favorite place to play. So it's definitely going to be a good time out there with a lot of friends and family, and it's going to be a good time.
We'll go to Brendan on your right, Aaron.
Aaron, your manager has talked a lot about the closeness of this team. Could you describe that closeness, and where do you think it comes from?
Yeah, we got each other's back. We got a lot of young guys in this room, a lot of young guys that have played with each other kind of coming up. I know Wellesley and Volpe played together kind of coming up, especially with Dominguez. So I think their times through the minor leagues kind of build a strong core along with Cabrera. But then our veteran guys, they know how hard it is to play in New York. The scrutiny, the expectations day in and day out. And, then we added a couple new pieces. You had Soto, you had Stroman. We traded for Jazz. Verdugo, we just, kind of welcomed everybody in. And I think that's the biggest thing is we just kind of rely on each other. If someone's going through a tough time, we always try to go out there and pick them up, be there for each other because we know how hard this game is. And, especially wearing pinstripes, it's tough. It's like no other place to play in the big leagues. So I think it's just really getting knocked down a couple times throughout the season, kind of builds that family unity, going through those tough times, going through those tough series, those lulls, and kind of all of us picking each other up. I think that's where this unity comes from because, even though we won our division, there were some couple tough weeks there. But, we just relied on each other, try to block everything out. And I think, going through those tough times, you can kind of look around the room and, hey, I relied on this guy to pick me up. Doogie picked me up several times. We picked up G, getting Garrett Cole back and the stuff he went through. It's just everybody relied on each other. Everybody had each other's back, and I think that's what kind of drew us together as a family.
Good, Eric, then Ron.
Aaron, you mentioned Giancarlo before. How would you describe what you saw from him the first 2 rounds of the playoffs?
That's a big G we know. Consistent at bats. Doesn't matter what's going on in the game. If we're up in the game, if we're down in the game, if it's a tie ball game, early, late, he's going to give you a quality at bat. And we saw it game after game where he either came up with a big homer, came up with a big hit to driving a couple runs, took a walk when he needed to set something else up. Just the guys locked in. But I think we see that every postseason out of him, and I just love when October comes around for him.
And then you talked before Juan Soto got here about the transformational bat, generational talent, I think was a phrase that you used. What did you learn about him this year actually playing with him? You knew you were getting a talent, but what didn't you know and that you came to learn?
Well, anytime you see superstars like that, a lot of it is God-given ability, but I think getting a chance to see the hard work and dedication he puts in behind the scenes. I think it might have been early May. We were in Minnesota. I think he had a couple bad games. But I saw him in the cage. He'd show up early. He's doing work with Pat Rustler, and I was kind of talking to him like, hey, what are you working on? What are you doing? He's like, I just don't feel right. This isn't feeling right. This isn't feeling right. And all of a sudden I'm looking up at the scoreboard and he's hitting 320, 15 homers. I'm like, I think you're doing all right. So it's just impressive to see even a guy like him who's, it looks like he's got it all figured out. He continues to put in the work, put in the dedication year in and year out. So that was pretty cool to see just from, he's just one of the best players in the game. He's a superstar, and, he continues to want to improve and continue to, do better. So it's definitely what I saw.
Ron, right up front, Aaron.
You've seen over the years players from the 90s come by through the ballpark, players from the 70s, even a handful from the 60s. Is there something you think in stature that separates the ones who've won World Series rings from everyone else in the groups in Yankee history?
They definitely got a different aura walking around here when they, you got a couple rings on your finger. So I think that's the biggest thing is you just see that they're battle tested. They've been through the grind. They've been through the ups and downs, and they came out on top. So you definitely see that when those guys come through here.
And a couple of the guys have mentioned when they were traded here or signed here and got here that you went out of your way to welcome them and answer questions. When in the decade here did you feel that was part of yours to take on?
I've always tried to do that. I think it's a little tough as a rookie when you're, first get called up in 16, 17. We had some good veteran leaders around here that kind of took that reign. But, 18, 19, we added a couple new guys. I always tried to reach out to them, just make them feel comfortable. I've been with the Yankees organization for a while, and I just felt like that was what I saw the veteran guys do, and I just wanted to be a part of that. And, I try to continue to do that to this day and try to show our younger guys the same thing. Like, hey, that's how you do it around here, because the quicker we can get these guys feeling comfortable with us, feeling like they're a part of this team, the better they're going to be playing, the better they're going to help us, and they're going to help us win games. So that's just always been something I try to do, because this is a tough game, but if you're comfortable, you're going to play better.
Thank you.
We'll finish up very quickly with Eric Coe before Aaron Boone comes in.
Hey, Aaron, you mentioned about Shohei, but I think a lot of baseball fans are looking forward to see you and Shohei facing each other in the World Series. You guys had a really both a good season. Are you also kind of excited to, face Shohei in a big stage?
Yeah, definitely. We had our battles throughout the regular season over the years. When he was with the Angels playing, kind of back and forth. Seeing him hit homers over my head and, having some good series. But getting a chance to play on the biggest stage and the biggest moment, I think that's going to be pretty cool to watch. He's just, like I said, he's such a great ambassador for this game. He plays the game the right way. You see him hustling around the diamond. I think that just sets such a great example for our youth and all the kids that are going to be watching this series. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to this matchup.